Hello trainers, my name is Tablemon and today we're going to be taking a look at the Leafeon VMAX deck from the new Evolving Skies set. Let's take a look at the deck. Alright, so we have the deck list right here, which I'm very excited about. Leafeon is one of my favorite Diamond and Pearl Pokemon, I would say, and Leafeon VMAX is a really powerful card. At 310 HP, it is on the lower end of the HP for VMAX Pokemon in general. However, its attacks are pretty good. Grass Knot does 60 damage for each colorless in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. Most Pokemon will have a 1 retreat cost, so perhaps that's not a lot, right? But we do play Galar Mine, which increases the retreat cost of both active Pokemon by 2 more. That means most of the time we're going to be dealing at least 180 damage, which is enough to produce 2 hit KOs on most other VMAX Pokemon, and a KO on most other Pokemon, but nowadays things are having heftier retreat costs at 2 or even 3, so that only adds to the damage output for Grass Knot. And then we have the attack Max Leaf, which does 170 damage and you heal 30 damage from this Pokemon. So 170 is once again another magic number to make sure that you are 2-hit KOing anything that you go up against, but also with the healing, you could potentially turn a 2-hit KO from an opponent's Pokemon into a 3-hit KO, and that's really, really impactful. Now, on top of this, the Leafeon V card is actually really good. Its ability Greening Cells allows you to search your deck for a Grass Energy card and attach it to one of your Pokemon, not just Leafeon V, but any Pokemon that you want. And then you shuffle your deck. Now, if you use this ability, your turn ends, but finishing your turn on turn 1 with this ability, guaranteeing that you have the energy, guaranteeing that you're not missing out on that specific card, is actually really huge and a really big consistency booster for the deck. Now, on top of these, we are running a heavy 4-4-2-2 split of the Inteleon line. We have the Drizzles with the Shady Dealings to search for specific trainers that we might need at any given point. And then we have more Shady Dealings with the Sword and Shield Inteleon, but also bonus damage with the Quick Shooting Inteleon, allowing us to put 2 damage counters on one of our opponent's Pokemon and perhaps helping us finish off some threats or establish others and put them in range for Grass Knot to be used in order to get a KO. Now we also have access to a Crobat V for the Dark Acid ability, but that's not going to be our main way to draw cards. We're gonna rely more on our supporters and the Drizzle and Inteleon. Now, supporters wise, we do play 3 Research and 3 Marnie along with a Bird Keeper, since we are playing Galar Mine, increasing all of our Pokemon's retreat cost. I figured having a supporter switching card would be good, along with the 3 switches as well, of course. We have a ton of Pokemon Search with Quick Ball, Pokemon Communication, Level Ball, and Evolution Incense. If we were to make this deck a post-rotation deck, all we would need to do would be to take out the 2 Pokemon Communication and put in 2 more Evolution Incense to make it 4, and that would be more than enough to make sure that we are playing a post-rotation legal deck. Now, finally, we have Tool Jammer, as we want to make sure that Pokemon tools are not working for opponents, especially Eeveelutions, because Eeveelutions directly affect the damage that we deal. And then we have 4 Capture Energy, which really help with the consistency of the deck. 5 Grass Energies that we can search for with Greening Cells, but also just find with Energy Spinner to attack with. And finally, we have our 3 Boss's Orders to target down whatever our opponent's Pokemon is threatening us. Let's jump into a ladder and see what we can do with a Leafeon VMAX. Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this card. It seems pretty solid, pretty strong, and I absolutely love the fact that we get to play 4 Capture Energy and 4 Quick Ball along with the Inteleon line. And look, with this hand, we actually don't have a very good starting hand, right? This isn't great. However, thanks to our ability, we're not going to miss the energy drop, and that actually is potentially very impactful. Alright, So we're up against Shadow Rider Calyrex, which does have a true retreat cost, so our Grass Knot attack not gonna be super impactful. We do see the Gengar Mimikyu getting played right here. We do see the attachment to the active, not to the Gengar Mimikyu, which is interesting. And then I don't know what my opponent is planning. The card I just top decked to Marnie is actually pretty good, because I would love I would love to find an energy to attach to a Leafeon along with using my ability. So I'll go ahead and play the Galar Mine, potentially prevent any switching from eeveelution shenanigans. We do not find an energy, however the Tool Jammer could definitely help in preventing the retreat. So I'll go ahead and do this, and then I'm feeling safe-ish. So I'm gonna go ahead and Greening Cells onto the active. I wish I had found an energy, but thankfully our ability sort of saves us here. Now we do need to find an energy for next turn, right? But between the Tool Jammer and their Stadium, my opponent might actually have a hard time getting to retreat into the Gengar Mimikyu, and that's something that's potentially useful for us, right? To see the Shadow Rider, we are going to see the Honorable Door ability to power up the Gengar Q. And then we shall see what else our opponent tries to do right here. Like I mentioned, the Tool Jammer is definitely making a big difference here, because my opponent can't just go attach her balloon. It has to be switched. And most Shadow Rider lists are playing heavier counts of Herballoons over switches, so that's pretty important to note. Alright, so my opponent definitely doesn't have the best hand here, which means I don't think I want to Marnie my opponent, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the Crobat, grab the energy, and then any Pokemon that I draw here gets me the Leafeon. Combined with the Pokegums, I actually find more than enough right here, which is great to get my Leafeon VMAX established. I can also just establish both and find myself a research. I really like that. I actually really like that. So we'll grab the Drizzle, we'll grab the other Leafeon VMAX, very nice. We did prize the third one, but that's okay. We only need two because our opponent knocks out two and the game's over, so don't have to worry too much about that. And there we go. Yeah, pretty nice. Pretty nice. Alright, losing the energy, not ideal. I only have 2 grass energy left now. That's alright. I am going to keep this Drizzle in hand in case something changes and I need to search for something specific next turn, but such as a boss, right? But being able to get the first hit into Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX and not having my opponent like really threaten me is actually really good. I'm not very sure how impactful the Galar Mine ends up being overall, since we haven't seen my opponent play down an Herballoon, but maybe they choose not to play it just because I have the Tool Jammer and the Stadium, right? I'm not 100% sure. Now, even if Gengar Q uses its GX attack right here, we are definitely not threatened by that. We are absolutely not going to be threatened. My opponent attaches to the active, plays the Herballoon, which doesn't work. And even if it did work, he would still lose the 2 energies off of the Galar Mine. We do see a switch, and as I mentioned, imagine if I didn't have the switch. Oh, it does work now because of Tool Jammer. Oh, that's annoying. So my opponent does buy themselves a turn right there. Very annoying, and I get another trainer to top things off. I should be KOing the Gengar Q next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 250 damage, not ideal. Not ideal, but if we just knock out the Gengar Q here, then that's gonna be really good. No Alcremie threat either. Very few energy in play for my opponent overall, and they will be losing 2 more, which is fantastic for us. And here, like I said, like I could have evolved the Drizzle last turn, right? And I feel like a lot of players do that. They like to chain the Drizzles, they like to just evolve their Drizzles, but now I get any card that I could possibly want, right? like a Marnie potentially, or just establish the Inteleon already. Something like that. Okay, so I'm definitely taking the KO on the Gengar cube. I should just still attach the energy, right? And then I'm kind of feeling the Marnie. Although, I mean, I have game in hand, right? So maybe I just do this and get myself the damage counter placement in Inteleon. Yeah, I don't see why not. Allows me to pressure a little bit, just in case something weird happens here. And we'll go ahead and Grass Knot, take the KO, perfect maths onto the tag team. You can see the power creep of the VMAXs against the tag teams. Probably gonna get Marnied, but we do have a lot of outs into boss, and my opponent just ends up conceding, which is great. So let's jump into our next game. The deck worked flawlessly. The retreat cost prevention or measures that this deck has in order to increase the retreat cost ended up probably slowing down our opponent a little bit, combined with their not so ideal draws, right? That also definitely influenced. All right. So we are able to find a Leafeon. As long as Crobat isn't priced, our hand is not dead. So this is looking like a pretty sweet hand overall, as long as Crobat is available to us. If it isn't, then we have 2 turns to top deck out of this not so ideal situation. And even if we don't, we actually just have the Leafeon ready to go. So that's alright too. So I do have access to the Crobat. None of these cards I fancy discarding though, so I'm not gonna discard them yet. I'm just gonna go ahead and Greening Cells onto myself. So now, why am I not playing the switch? Because if this is a Welder version of Mewtwo, which I don't know right now, they could Welder 3 fire energies and then utilize Reshiram and Charizard's GX attack to knock me out. So it's probably going to be a Dark Box version of the deck. That's usually what you see with Mewtwo lately, but you never know, right? You actually never know. There we go, it's actually Rowlet Executor. All right, so they have healing, I have healing. As long as I'm two-shotting them, I think that's okay. Knowing now that they play this, my Galar mine, I mean, I do play 4 stadiums, so versus their probable 1 chaotic swell, so it shouldn't be that big a deal overall. No, never mind. Well, how much HP does this? Does the Rillaboom have? 150 or 140? Okay, 170, never mind. So I definitely can't KO. And, wow, I can just top deck the Crobat. That's actually very, very fortunate. I'll go ahead and play the Tool Jammer in order to eliminate that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing any damage at all, and that's definitely not something we want happening. Decent-ish hand. So, my opponent has 4 cards in hand. I could go Boss and knock them out. I actually really like that. I actually think that is completely broken, right? That's gotta be completely broken. Taking a knockout break here is just insane. Yeah, it is 180 damage, absolutely. Why wouldn't I do this? Go ahead and evolve just so that I have the guaranteed research in my hand. Bye-bye Rillaboom, thanks to my Tool Jammer preventing their tool. And then I deny the Rillaboom, which is what this deck needs in order to do well, right? A 2 energy Mewtwo is definitely not threatening at all. We lose our research, instead we gain a few extra cards, which is perfectly fine. We would have seen a ton of these cards anyways, off of the research. And without Rillaboom in play, that deck should be falling apart pretty quickly. So their best case scenario right now is hitting me 180 with Vileplume. If I heal 30, if I heal 30 damage, then I would have 150. They could still KO me. If they absolutely could still KO me. Okay, so they do play Incineroar, which makes sense. So the Incineroar threatens a KO next turn. What did they grab? Titania, okay. And they just go for the Jet Punch. So, I mean, if I attack into them, I heal, right? There's the Spinner. So, I can do one... I mean, the healing doesn't matter. If I do 120, and then 120, that's actually not a KO. So here's what I do. Because I have this Spinner, I'm gonna Bird Keeper into this guy and then just manual retreat. That's fine. Yeah, and I get more of these, which is great. I'll go ahead and look for the grass and attach it, right? Because that's the harder card to find. Perfect. And then I will go ahead and play down the Sobble. Did I do this wrong? Could I have just attacked with this guy? No, because I don't have a Tool Jammer with that one. Okay, I think I'm overthinking this. I want to make sure, I feel like I'm in such a good spot. I really just don't want to mess up and be left in a situation where my mistake ends up costing me, right? So go ahead and do this, and then we'll go ahead and Grass Nuts. So next turn, what I need is, they're going to GX, which is fine. Next turn I need Galar Mine and Tool Jammer. I did not check to see if my other Tool Jammer was available actually. So that could be a little problematic. If it's priced, then I could absolutely be in trouble. Well, if it's priced, then I need double Quick Shooting Intillion plus the Stadium, which is unlikely but not impossible. Alright, we see Dragonite from Alola. Hopefully I didn't mess up here. I mean, I don't think I could have done a different play though. If I had hit for 170, then the end result is the same. Actually, no. If I hit for 170, then I wouldn't have energy. If I hit for 170, I would have had to Marnie, right? So maybe that would have been better, because then I would have kept the energy. Alright. Just gotta hope, right? 10%, less than 10% chance, because I have 5 prizes, not even 6. So let's go ahead and Level Ball. For that, Tool Jammer is available, so all I need to do is grab this and then Pokecom it back for the Shady Dealings Intillion. That guarantees that I get both cards. Right, the Stadium and the Tool Jammer, which is what I need. Perfect. And then all I will need afterwards is a boss in order to close out the game, which I have 2 of. So, I mean, my opponent does have a huge hand, so I might as well Marnie. And there's the bosses, there's the Level Ball. If I get Marnie back, then all of these cards go to the bottom of the deck, which is not ideal, of course. But it is what it is. We'll go ahead and Grass Knot, take the KO, and we are in prime position to just outright win this game. Leafeon, Incense, another out in case we get stamped. Stadium, probably not super important at this point. Never mind, now it's very important. I have so many outs though. Even if I get Barneyed here, I have so many outs. And I mean, I guess, okay, so my opponent can evolve into Rillaboom, but it's gonna take them at least 2 turns before they can threaten to KO my Leafeon, so that's a pretty big deal. Both Rillabooms are dead, so they also need to find a way to get back a Rillaboom unless they play a 3-3-3 line, which I would be very surprised if they do. Or a 2-3-3 line potentially. There's this Thwacky and no Rillaboom for you, sir. Nope. Alright, so now all we need to do is play the Galar Mine, Boss's Orders up, the Dedenne, and Grass Knot for 180 and the game. Very solid. I absolutely love Inteleon. I think Inteleon is such a fantastic card. Lets you find what you need when you need it. You really can't ask for much more than that. You really can't. So Leafeon is a very solid deck. It's a very powerful deck. Definitely recommend you give it a try. It's hyper consistent with the capture energies and the level balls and the quick balls and all. So I don't know, I love it, and it just looks cool overall. Thank you so much for tuning in, hope you enjoyed this video, and let us know what you thought. Cheer up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Alola trainers!